Hello everyone. Now I know I said I wasn't going to make any videos elaborating on my cannabis video, but due to the success of the video per se, and I feel like a lot of the stuff I said was very generic in the video, I thought I would go into a little bit more detail on the actual experience of quitting and what I went through specifically with the withdrawal. Right, so when I first stopped, there were 3 days of where I didn't feel too much of the withdrawal symptoms. And generally, if you're coming down off of smoking or just stopping consuming THC in general, a lot of people would see cold sweats at nighttime, and possibly sleepless nights and lack of appetite. So out of most of those things, I noticed a lack of appetite due to the fact that I was 186 pounds before I quit smoking cannabis, and by the time I was a week and a half into actually quitting, I had lost almost easily 9 to 12 pounds, give or take, right? Like I have a body type that tends to fluctuate very easily. Now in this video, as you're seeing me, I'm actually 195 pounds. So I've since gained another 20 pounds since quitting. Right, but that took I quit back in April, March-ish. So that took almost maybe 4 or 5 months to put back on that weight that I lost and some, right? So generally, for the first part of the withdrawal symptoms, I definitely had a lack of appetite. I know this might come off or sound a little weird, but it actually was very difficult for the first 4 days for me to use the washroom. I think it was due to the fact that I wasn't eating, and obviously I had been relying on my appetite being regulated by THC, right? So that was one of the main things that I was suffering from. So lack of appetite. My sleep became very different, so to speak. The first couple nights I actually couldn't sleep, but when I did start to sleep, it was weird because my sleep was constantly being interrupted with extremely vivid dreams. So that's something you're going to notice as well when you do quit smoking, that you're actually capable of dreaming, number one. And as I went further into the stage of quitting, I noticed that I was capable of being more in control of my dreams. Right, so it tends to be a lot more fun now when I do sleep, and I'm capable of navigating the dream in a manner where my dream retention is a lot better as well. So I'm capable of remembering a lot of the dream when I wake up in the morning, and also being able to actually control the full dream, which is really, really cool. Another thing was irritability. So I was very, very upset at times for no reason. A lot of mood swings. So I was, at one point I'm really, really happy, another point I was really, really depressed. I was first 3 days I was actually starting to get the shakes a little bit, or after the first 3 days I began to get the shakes in certain places. But yeah, for the most part, the biggest part of the withdrawal was between the first week and the third week, right? So yeah, expect to be have weird eating habits. Expect your dreams, I'm sure you guys have all heard this before, expect your dreams to be a lot more vivid. If you're going to be doing this, or you're going to be quitting, going about a day-to-day job is going to be very difficult. I don't work for anybody, so I'm usually by myself when I'm working, so that made it a lot easier for me. So I wasn't actually interacting with a lot of people, which made it great. But if you are going to be interacting with more than one person or more than 2-3 people, it's going to be difficult because, like I said, irritability is definitely going to be something that you're going to be facing. Now, be mindful of the fact that I did slow my THC consumption before actually quitting. So I was using these things called THC carts or cartridges, and what I slowly did was I slowly started to increase the CBD count and decrease the THC count in these cartridges. So that helped a lot, right? So I went from doing, I think, an 80-20 cart, which was 80% THC and 20% CBD, and I slowly dropped it down to 50-50, and then I went 10-60, and it just kept going down until I started doing full CBD carts and eventually you'll notice that the CBD carts don't really do much because there's no THC, and then I completely cut the CBD carts after. It was weird. It was when I cut the CBD cart is when I actually started to see a lot of the withdrawal symptoms, and it was weird because it was almost as if my mind was still creating a placebo effect as if I was smoking. So I didn't have any THC in my system for almost 2-3 weeks with the CBD carts, but after stopping the CBD carts, I still suffered from a withdrawal. So yeah, it's really interesting how, like I said, your mind plays a huge role in the concept, I think, of just consuming THC alone. In some cases, like I said in the last video that I made, THC is not bad for you. There are people out there who are prescribed it, right? It's just when you start to take it away from the prescription side and indulge in it recreationally is where I feel like it becomes detrimental for your lifestyle, for your brain, for your development, all these different things, right? So for those who are consuming cannabis by smoking it, and also if you're smoking blunts, be aware that you're going to be going through a double withdrawal at the time, if you want to call it that. Nicotine is in your system due to the tobacco, and also THC is in your system obviously due to the weed. So I feel like if you can take it slowly by cutting out one, so cut the blunts or cut the tobacco first, move the papers, and then eventually once you've moved the papers, slowly start to cut the consumption of how much you do use. And as I said in the last video, don't go cold turkey, because if you go cold turkey, you don't want to put your body through too much stress, right? Because essentially that's what you're doing. Your body had become almost reliant on something, and now you're putting a strain on it by just immediately taking it away. It's almost, I'd like to compare it to waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth, right? If you have a habit of smoking a joint every single day and you just completely stop doing it, it's like your teeth. Your teeth are going to go through a level of stress. Why? Because they're used to being brushed. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same concept. It's almost like it's become a habit in your life, right? And anything that you do on a daily basis, taking it away immediately, the body goes into a sense of shock, right? So, I'm not going to make the video too long, but that was my general experience with going through the withdrawal process of quitting cannabis. I hope I helped anybody in this video to know what to expect if you are going to quit, and how to kind of navigate through it if you are planning on quitting. Like I said, never go cold turkey. Slowly cut your consumption to a point where you could eventually quit. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.